Hello, welcome to this overview of succession planning as presented by ESS BIZTOOLS in the succession planning product package. Businesses need a broad succession strategy. Basically, ask yourself the question, what would happen if something happened to the owner, to the CEO, other key people within your client's organization? Has there been any preparation? Most small medium enterprises cannot afford to have a CEO sitting in the wings waiting for something to happen. This is part of succession. Developing a succession strategy is very important if the company wants to raise capital as an early stage innovation company. If the company is under 3 years of age or perhaps up to 6 years of age, they can still avail themselves of that opportunity in some cases. But crowdsource funding equity raising is very appropriate for companies that are wanting to grow, but they will need a succession strategy that's summarized in that document because potential investors will want to know what the company strategy is if something happens to a key person. So does the business have a succession strategy? This would be evident by the corporate management chart, whether there's job descriptions for all of the management team, job description for the CEO. Can there be further delegation so that there is a concentrated effort to spread the responsibilities throughout the management team? A good idea is to organize a corporate governance think tank workshop to have a good look at what's happening within the business. This could involve a board of advice or board of directors if the company has one, and the management group. All these strategies could be held individually. You're probably asking how you're going to have the tools to do all this. Well, we've produced these within the ESS BIZTOOLS succession planning product strategies. Is there a skills matrix? Has the business clearly identified the skills that it does not have internally? And is this an issue when it comes to succession within the business? The outcomes of these strategy reviews will be a clearer understanding of the board of advice role, the board of directors role, a better appreciation of what everyone's got to do. Perhaps the agreeing of an individual skills training program. Succession is just not about the CEO or the owner of a business. Succession basically applies to every position within a business. So this emphasis on developing ongoing training programs is very important to ensure that as far as possible, the business is able to replace people from within their current team. Owner succession is a segment which we have in the manual for owners to answer. What does the owner of the business want to achieve from this business? Are they building a business for a lifetime involvement or an early exit? Has the business owner identified their fears as to what's worrying them, what keeps them awake at night? I call it the 3 a.m. wake-up call. What are those issues? And which of those can be overcome by having a concerted effort to introduce succession throughout the organization? What options are there for owner succession? Bringing in a partner, a family member to take over the business, engaging an external CEO for the business, or perhaps a trade sale, or a Section 708 Companies Act capital raising, whereby the company could raise up to $2 million from 20 investors every 12 months. Just watch out you don't exceed the 50 shareholder rule for a private company. Or they could avail themselves of crowdsource funding equity raising, whereby they could raise up to $5 million in 12 months. and repeat it again the following year if they've got a good enough story and if investors are prepared to invest in the company. Or raise a lower amount, of course, might only be a couple of $100,000. It's having a plan that's important and applying it to succession. Or going down the track to have an initial public offer whereby the company would become listed on a stock exchange. These are all options relative to owner succession. Or sell the assets and close the business. I always find that's very disappointing when that happens, but it is a strategy and one that you should be thinking about. And all of these strategies are covered in the succession planning product package produced by ESS BIZTOOLS. And is the business in a state where it is exit ready, that something could happen? Are the documentation sources up to date? If a potential trade sale inquirer walked in, how long is it going to take the business to be able to respond? Is it a couple of weeks or is it months? If it's months, the owner may well be very dissatisfied because the trade sale inquirer may have gone on and looked at another business, whereby they will get a response within a couple of weeks. So planning for succession is very important. We think it's important you start with a SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of this business. What is the business's mission statement? What is the corporate objectives for this business? And how should they be reviewed? And all of this is a waste of time unless there's then an implementation of the strategy relative to the business operations, management training, team training, corporate governance reviews, budgets, cash flow forecasts, the business plan. The succession planning document should then be produced for the business, identifying what is happening in the total team. There's obviously family issues in many businesses when it comes to succession. Our manual introduces the concept of looking at family charter, the formation of a family council, and gaining the family's input on succession. This can be a very difficult subject, and an accountant or business advisor that has a knowledge of the business can be a very important person in guiding a family through these difficult issues so that conflict is avoided. There'll be some areas where there needs to be input on succession from the board of advice, the board of directors, the family, management, team members. And it would be part of the role of the accountant or business advisor to coordinate all of this input and to document it and to ultimately produce it as a succession document. There are other succession issues that need to be taken into account. If we're looking at the owner's succession, has the owner got enough money to retire by leaving the business the way it is at present? Or is this the reason we're looking at IPOs or crowdsourced funding or Section 708 capital raising or a trade sale? What about the ongoing commercial relationships? Have many of the relationships been developed around the personality of the owner or the CEO? And if they were no longer there in situ, what would it do to those commercial relationships? Is there a need for the current CEO or owner to start introducing successors in the business, other members of the management team, so that the organizations that the business has commercial relationships with is satisfied that they know more people in the organisation? Is the corporate structure conducive to succession? And what about personal due diligence on the assets that the owner currently owns? Are personal assets being utilised in the business? Are the buildings actually owned personally by the owner? And what's going to happen as part of the succession plan to those assets? What agreements need to be looked at? Are there a range of trade secrets that are only known by the owner or the CEO? These will need to be documented. In fact, they probably should have been documented already and secured in a solicitor's safe or in a bank safe, so that they're available in case there is a urgent situation, something has happened to the owner or the CEO. Now, ESS BizTools can assist you in all of this because we have developed a succession planning package that covers each of those issues that I have raised with you. So there's forms, there's questionnaires, there's a quotation template, there's articles on succession to assist you to have these very important discussions with your client, with the owners of the business, with the management team, with the directors or board of advice members, with the staff team, and with the family, so that an effective succession plan that will be able to be implemented can be agreed upon. We look forward to you joining ESS BizTools as a subscriber to our succession planning product package as a standalone product, or you can subscribe to the ESS BizTools Gold or Silver packages, in which case you will obtain access to the succession planning package as well as access to a wide number of other packages and services. Thank you for your interest in our services. We look forward to you and your colleagues becoming subscribers to our products. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.